morning. I was yesterday. I was trying to think of something to talk about today. So, and I came across, of course, somebody posted this Ririn Yamada's Methods of Zazen, and maybe I can just read a little about Ririn Yamada's Zazen methods, and we just finished a month-long practice period, and it's kind of like it's a meditation intensive, and so there's quite a lot of zazen, and we would recite this writing that Eiheiji Dogen, he's the founder of one of the founders of the Soto School, and he wrote the Fukanza Zengi. So we recite that every evening, and basically it talks about the physical, how you kind of the physical mechanics of zazen, and then it talks about then the inside of what happens internally. So it takes a fair amount of time to get seated, and at first it's all different parts of your body that are trying to work together, and so a lot of it is adjusting to this posture that we actually wholeheartedly aim at this posture. And when we wholeheartedly aim at this posture, these opposites, or all these like our hands, our legs, they all become kind of it's a working with opposites, and it's a merging of opposites, and actually directly feeling the experience of actually two things, body and mind and arms and everything becoming one. So a lot of it is it's a practice. Is it a sport? I don't know if it's a sport.
Extreme sport.
Yeah, it's a training. So it's actually a physical training. So usually people think that when they come to a retreat center, or actually a Zen center, they think that something's gonna lift them somewhere, solve all their problems. But it actually speeds up all the problems or the difficulties that you have in this thinking mind. It speeds it up, but you have to sit, and you have to be consistent with it. So it's just like probably like a swimmer or basketball player. When you're consistent with it, then you start to there's an awareness that comes back, that you start to actually realize this thinking mind, or you realize swimming, you realize basketball, and it's a whole different game then. So they say it's a game changer, but to play the game, we have to play no game, and we have to let go of this self that actually we struggle with on this sitting cushion. So the Vajra seat, to sit on your cushion and stay seated. And we used to be very strict, more strict here about people moving around or moving in different positions. We used to, we have a little name chart, and we used to say that person cannot move the whole time that they're here. If people want to pick, if they want to be closer to the door, they want to sit against the wall. But it's the idea of not moving from this this deeper part of yourself, in which you will manifest it when you just take this seated posture. So like the Buddha, he wasn't interested in all the religions that existed in his time. And he wasn't interested in the asceticisms, failed, and he tried everything, philosophy, but he was interested in actually the body and the mind. The mind is something that's very pure deluded. Something that's body and mind is very important. He was interested in the body and the mind now, in the present time. Not to think about something, but to actually put it to the test. So that's what we're actually doing, is we're testing ourselves when we sit. So testing ourselves, meaning that the test goes beyond this self, and then something happens with the self, then something, mystery happens. And then this self is no longer there. And then it appears there, and then also doesn't appear there. But that's the vibrancy or the brightness of its working, of Zazen's working. But that's if we maintain maintain a consistency of practice. So it has to be consistent and wholehearted. Like, I remember first learning how to drive a car, and I got in the car and tried to drive it, and it felt so big, like, it felt, this piece of metal, and you can't drive it. So you're thinking like we had, there was no automatics in my day. So driving, but as you're consistent with it, and then as you don't think, then you become wholeheartedly actually one with the car. And when you get in the car, probably pretty much everyone now, you get in the car and it's automatic. You're one with the car. So it's a wholeheartedness, to where there's no thinking, and also not discriminating anything. So I'm going to read through some of this, the method of Zazen, and just say a few things about it. So Reirin Yamada, he was the 75th Zenji, or the head abbot of Eiheiji, and I think this was, maybe it was in the 80s or late 70s. I don't know. Do you know? Reirin Yamada was a Zenji, I think late 70s or early 80s? Maybe 70s. But he came over, and they put him the head of Zenshuji. So he was an abbot down at Zenshuji in Los Angeles. And then at the same time, I think they put him ahead of the head of Sotoshu of North America. So he did such a great job, and he was an impact during that time to where he then returned to Japan and then became the president of Kamazawa University, and then he became actually the Zenji of Eiheiji. So. So this is he talks about the body and so lotus form sitting, or sitting with folded legs, is characteristic of an ideally seated figure of the Buddha. This is really important. It's the posture. Yeah, it's the embodiment of the awakened mind. So just to take the posture is, even with all this stuff that comes up, you think that you're going to take this posture and then something happens, but that is the happening. But we have to accept it, because that's our it's the truth of reality. So it's the truth. To take the posture of Zazen is actually the truth of a reality. So it's not trying to put something on top of it, but we're actually stripping it down, and we're taking this posture, and only the posture, we aim wholeheartedly at the posture, and then something happens. But that something happens is also wordless. So seated figure of the Buddha. The right leg is folded and placed on the thigh of the right leg, of the left leg. The right leg is folded and placed on the thigh of the left leg. Then the left leg is folded and placed on the thigh of the right leg. So he goes to, it's okay to reverse this order and sit in all ways, but try your best. And the idea, sitting in a chair is fine, sitting in seiza is fine, but the idea is to have the thinking mind be connected with the earth. So that's really important, because all the time the thinking is up in the chest, and then it goes up to the throat, and then it goes to here, and then we start creating false realities. And then that's where we become in trouble, is when the energy is up in the head. The feeling of stability which one experiences when one sits is so wonderful that they cannot help but to return to this stability and this groundedness. So that's when the Buddha, actually when the Buddha arrived at the spot where he was, then he found himself, which was all things. So that was the enlightenment of the Buddha. He took the seat, he just sat down and stopped. And then he found himself, which is the enlightenment of all things. Once the legs, this disposition of the legs is complete, the hands should then be rested in the front of the lower abdomen. So he's talking about now the mudra, or the cosmic mudra. The palm of the right hand should be turned upward. The palm of the left hand also should be turned upward and placed on the right palm. The thumbs of both hands are then raised with the right thumb in contact with the left thumb. The thumbs face the palm of the hands and form a beautiful gem-like ellipse. I guess it's ellipse. I read it at first as eclipse, and that was quite nice, eclipse, because last night after our the precept ceremony, I looked at the moon and it was quite beautiful. So when you look down at your mudra, the thumbs will be lightly touching. I think there's Suzuki-roshi says that the thumbs will be lightly touching, and then there's other teachers say that you press the thumbs. You can press the thumbs slightly, and it's interesting because the mudra is also a very soft oval shape, and I was reading in that chapter in Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, if you put out your elbows a little bit, we could try it, or you could try it at home. But if you sit and then put out your elbows, and he says like placing eggs or lightness. If you bring out your elbows slightly, it adjusts the mudra, so the mudra goes in actually to the tanden. So a lot of times when we're sitting, and it depends on also our legs, how they're placed, the mudra can fall, and then it goes in the groin area. And actually, it's probably not a good idea in the groin area, but more in the tanden kikai. And so the mudra is like, it's your primordial nose, not breathing from here, but we breathe from our primordial nose. And the nose, the diaphragm, or the breathing from here, then creates actually the core, the strength and the core of the body, in which then the thinking mind becomes connected with the body and connected with the earth. I've been experimenting with this, but if you hold your mudra and then put your elbows out, the mudra goes into the belly, and then it starts to create a hole, an oval, and it connects your clavicle with the elbows, and then the thumbs, and then the mudra. So it can help if you're drowsy. It can help actually pick up or actually bring together the energy or the parts of your body. It could bring it together. So the shoulders are slightly back, and then the elbows are slightly forward or out, and then the mudra or your thumb tips, they can slightly touch, or you could put a little pressure on the thumbs, and that will wake you up when you're sitting. Next is the disposition of the upper half of the body. The lower abdomen below the navel is forcibly pushed forward. He's probably talking about the what is it, the pelvis. If strength should penetrate into the upper abdomen at this time, one should try over and over again until strength enters only into the lower abdomen. When this has been accomplished, one's posture will be as if one is lifting the ceiling with the crown of the head. The neck will stretch and the vertebrae will lengthen. And then the face will be casted downward just a fraction. And this is really important. If you sit at home, if you sit, you make a place on the wall that's eye level. And every once in a while, then you could pick your gaze up towards that place on the wall. So then you know that your head and your body is straight. But you don't want to go higher than that line. If you go up there, that creates energy, and you'll be dreaming, or you'll be up. Slightly tilted forward, in which the energy remains here, or the concentration, but at the same time the thinking mind is straight, and the energy of the body, the thinking mind, is easy for the thoughts to let go of your thoughts. So the more that we're tilted forward, the more actually we go to sleep, and you can go inside and become drowsy. So this is really important for the sitting. When one has established this posture, then the upper body will assume a straight, poised appearance. So of course, we're not looking to be perfect, but everybody has their own center. Everyone has their own center, and also depending on everyone's body's proportion and what they need to is the straightness. So there's not a correct. We're not looking for like a correct, but we're looking for actually a truth that's straight. And one will find that on their own. So that's why the direct experience of finding it on your own and then proving it over and over is very important for one on this journey. Once the disposition of the body has been established, the next step is the disposition of breathing. So I'm going to probably go a little quicker through these. They're all very important. Inhale the breath as much as possible through the nose. Keep in mind the thought of having it go deep into the lower bottom of the lower abdomen, filling it entirely. So you fill the diaphragm in the lower belly area and then the lungs. The inhale breath should then be let out through the nose in a thin stream, beginning quietly, lightly, and slowly. Then the breath should be exhaled gradually in a thick stream, stronger, and then rapidly until it is all gone. Inhaling breath breathe deeply through the nose is known as kyuki, or drawing in breath. Exhaling breath with a groan is known as koki, or expelling breath. The most excellent koki is called unshu, and it is especially important. This is a method of groaning with sound, so it's not necessarily heard out loud, The adequacy or inadequacy of zazen is determined by this unshu alone, so it's the breathing. When one probes into the cause of inadequacy in zazen, one will discover that one is not doing this unshu correctly. This unshu is described in great detail by Keizan Zenji in his book, Written Instructions on Zazen. The third is the disposition of the mind. When the breathing is being practiced correctly, one's mind is perfectly and always quiet, peaceful, clear, and serene. The mind then functions. The intellect is crystal clear without a cloud to dim it. The emotions and will are pure and strong. When one is practicing zazen, there are times when one becomes sleepy, when the mind becomes cloudy and heavy, when one is restless like a monkey jumping from a tree to tree. Such conditions are due to unsatisfactory breathing. It is most effective to recompose one's body when one finds that one is not doing breathing satisfactory. Let's see. There's a part of the Fukanza Zengi that talks then about this internal working, and I'll try to get to it, but maybe it's a lot to talk about today. So in the Fukanza Zengi, there's a part. It says, "You should therefore cease from practice based on intellectual understanding. Pursuing words and following after speech, and learn the backward step that turns your light inward to illuminate yourself. Body and mind will drop away of themselves, and your original face will manifest itself. If you wish to attain suchness, you should practice suchness without delay." So there's in this paragraph, there's this term, it's called eko hensho, and echo means to turn, or a means to turn. So this is your awareness of turning your awareness then to this, you would say this person, but then the awareness becomes, it's an awareness that you're turning now. A is to turn, and ko is the light. And hensho means to return. Hen is to return, and sho is illumination. And there was a I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, we experienced a sunset. There was a sunset that happened on the mountain, and the sunset, I think I came down from the zendo, and then some people, they came outside the sanghouse to look at the sunset, and the sunset was beautiful. It was like a painting in the sky. And you saw it and you weren't here. So that's how big it is. This eko hensho is when the sun is gone, right? It has to do with the twilight, the day becoming nighttime. So it's in between this twilight in which when the sun is gone, right? You weren't here. When the sun is gone, then something happens in which the sun is somewhere else, right? We think it's gone, but then there's this illumination that happens, and then the clouds illuminate. So the setting sun, when we think it's gone, but the light is still there, and then things become illuminated, and we came out, and then we feel this peacefulness. So this is this quality in which the zazen that we're doing is actually the illumination of the universe. But when we don't do it, then something happens. But we must turn our awareness back to then you could say we shine the illumination, or we receive the illumination, or we are the illumination. There's a story about I was recalling when I did takuhatsu, and takuhatsu is actually monks and nuns do takuhatsu, and it's a begging rounds. So we did begging rounds, and we went to this small village, and you hold up your bowls and you chant, and then you go in front of stores, or you go in front of people's houses, and you ring a bell, and maybe they give you money. It's supposed to be. But this is kind of a monk's training, but you have to be. There's many things that happen during the day that you're alert. You have to be careful that you don't offend other people on the street. So you have this hat that you don't look at them. So maybe they give you some money. Most not. Most they say go away. but we did this for like a whole day, and it was in the snow, so it was quite cold. But you would always many things would happen to you during the day. You have to make decisions, whether they're good or bad decisions. You need to find your direction. You need to be reciting verses. And so at the end of the day, then we return to Eiheiji, and then we all go in a certain building, and we all wash off our feet, and we're tired at the end of the day. This is the time then that the sun is going down, and then there's night that's coming. And when in Zen, then there's the daytime when we can see things, like right now, then we discriminate. And at nighttime, when we can't see anything, then there's no discrimination. And there's a let's see, there's a reading in the Fukanza Zengi. Let's see here. Once you have adjusted yourself into this posture, just like I was talking about, take a deep breath Inhale, exhale, and rock your body to the right and left, and settle into a steady, unmoving sitting position. Think of not thinking. How do you think of not thinking? Non-thinking. This in itself is the essential art of Zazen. So this is interesting because the setting of the sun or the absence of the sun is actually what we're doing in Zazen. This in the daytime, as we do things, we discriminate good and bad or likes and dislikes. As night comes, then we stop our discrimination, and also we're tired, so we start to actually let go, and we see these thoughts come, but we don't discriminate against them. So it's like the setting sun when we're doing Zazen, and when we are almost gone, that's when this thinking is realizing itself without the discriminating mind. And then that's when this illumination, in which when we're taking this seated posture, that we become illumined through this. So this is really important. It's amazing. The practice is so amazing, and it's so deep and profound. But you need to dig into it, and you need to keep on digging into it until something happens. Not just waiting, but we need to be also fresh in our Zazen, because you could also do Zazen over and over again. Nothing happens. It might be because maybe you're not facing something. Let's see here. Let me read this last thing, and maybe that's when one turns this light around and shifts the attention from the sense experience to the essence of one's mind, one ejects form, sound, smell, flavor, touch, and phenomena, and attains tranquility. So this is this also spaciousness, and there's a quiet and tranquil. So that's why if we do practice, we don't talk. So this is, so it's not like Roshi has said this. It's not just not talking and shutting your mouth, but not talking up here. So being wholehearted in the present moment is finding this tranquility. Then after fully accomplishing this, one does not grasp the sense data outside, but descends among them without being blinded, letting them be without interference. So this is the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, letting it be, not having any attachment, letting the eyes just see, letting the ear just hear, but not me hearing, not conditioned part of me hearing. You should gouge out your eyes and see nothing at all. After that, there will be nothing you don't see. Only then can it be called seeing. You should block off your ears and hearing nothing at all. After that, there will be nothing you don't hear. Only then can it be called hearing. You should knock off your nose and not distinguish smells. After that, there will be nothing you can't distinguish. Only then can it be called smelling. You should pull out your tongue so that the world is silent. After that, your ebullience will be uninterrupted. Only then can it be called speaking. You should slough off the physical elements and be completely independent. After that, you manifest forms adapting to various types. Only then can you be called a true person. You should permanently stop clinging. You should permanently stop clinging thought so that incalculable ages are empty. After that, arising and vanishing continue unceasing. Only then can it be called consciousness. I think I'll stop.
There's 10 minutes for questions.
Oh, questions. Does anyone have a question or feedback or anything or anything you want to talk about?
Well, what came to my mind is, like doing things over and over seemed quite tedious. And it basically mirrored that, as you said, something is not fresh within you, you know. It's not just a beginner's mind, but you think you know. So I had this experience that with the gasho, with the bowing, and putting the palms together. I've been doing it thousands and thousands of times over a 10-year. And then one day I bowed to a cushion, and then I found the palms meeting each other have actually never happened in 10 years. But I thought it did, because at that moment, I just knew instantly it was just different. And you can call it like an aha moment or something, but that's the treasure of repetition, is that not necessarily gain anything from it. You do it many times so you get that strong muscle, but it's rather that the chances of that you cannot plan of you actually get awakened or enlightened, if you will. It is an enlightenment. As simple, that's at least what it felt like. As simple things of putting the palms together, and that experience is like when you learn biking, and then suddenly you have that balance. It never goes away, and that just knowing now the palms comes together in a certain way, it saves me, at least when I like do it. But it seems also like it reaches out to the whole universe. So it's just incredible, like how many movement and things we do that we actually not there. Like,
just relaying something that I, from years ago, Zen priest from Japan gave the group of us some instruction, and he prefaced it by saying, for Zen practice, breathing and posture are everything. And a couple of points. When doing the mudra, he said that the thumbs should be just barely touching. And the way he phrased it was, a piece of tissue paper should be able to pass between your thumbs, but just that. And a piece of tissue paper taped to your nose on the out breath should not move. But and my own experience was having the thumbs just almost touching. There's a certain kind of consciousness in that. It's kind of interesting, actually, to do it. And then extending the out breath, slowing it down to the point where it's just, takes forever just to do the out breath. Also, the breathing controls the mind. So slowing down the mind. Anyway, just two things I just remember from this Osho who came to Japan and gave us some instruction.